Welcome to our channel Brief Bits. Today we will explain psychological movie released in 2003 which is called The Tale of Two Sisters. The movie opens in a dimly lit psychiatric hospital. A doctor sits across from a teenage girl, Sue Mi, who stares blankly ahead, silent and withdrawn. Something is deeply wrong. The doctor asks her questions, but she doesn't respond. Her haunted expression lingers as the scene shifts to a countryside home, where she and her younger sister, Soo Yeon, arrive with their father, Moo Hyeon. The house is beautiful yet unnerving, large, spacious but eerily quiet. A sense of unease fills the air, amplified when their stepmother, Eun-ju, appears. She is polite but cold, her presence sending chills down the spine. Soo Mi, fiercely protective of her shy and timid sister, immediately clashes with Eun-ju. The tension is unspoken but suffocating. An uneasy homecoming. From the very first night, strange things happen. Soo Yeon wakes up in terror, convinced that someone is in her room. Soo Mi reassures her, but she, too, feels something is off. The house seems alive, doors creak open by themselves, and an ominous atmosphere lingers in the dimly lit hallways. Eun-ju exerts her dominance in subtle yet unsettling ways. She scolds Soo Yeon harshly for small mistakes and isolates her from their father, who seems eerily detached. Soo Mi watches everything closely, her resentment for Eun-ju growing. Then, the supernatural occurrences escalate. One night, as Soo Mi lies in bed, she hears soft, shuffling movements. She turns her head, and sees a figure crawling toward her. The ghostly woman, with a disjointed, unnatural motion, inches closer. Soo Mi screams, but when she blinks, the figure is gone. Was it real? Or just a nightmare? Eun-ju's cruelty and the haunting intensify. Eun-ju's behavior becomes more malicious. She locks Soo Yeon inside a dark closet, ignoring her terrified screams. When Soo Mi finds her sister later, bruises cover her arms. Her rage reaches a breaking point. She confronts her father, desperately pleading with him to protect Soo Yeon. But his response is chilling. He dismisses her concerns, as if none of it matters. Soo Mi is left seething, determined to fight back. As the days pass, the house itself seems to turn against them. Soo Yeon hears strange whispers from under the kitchen sink and sees a pale hand emerging from the darkness. One night, Eun-ju experiences something unexplainable. She gasps for air, paralyzed by an unseen force, her eyes wide with horror. And then, a horrifying discovery. Soo Mi finds Soo Yeon's pet bird, dead, stuffed inside a blood-soaked drawer. It's a warning, an act of cruelty beyond reason. Soo Mi explodes in rage, confronting Eun-ju. The confrontation turns violent. Soo Mi slaps her stepmother. In response, Eun-ju snaps. She drags Soo Yeon into a sack, beats her mercilessly, and locks her inside a wardrobe, her muffled cries filling the room. Soo Mi desperately tries to free her, but Eun-ju shoves her away. Overcome with terror and exhaustion, Soo Mi collapses. The shocking truth unfolds. Soo Mi wakes up to find her father sitting beside her. He looks at her with a mixture of sadness and exhaustion. And then, he tells her something that shatters her world. Soo Yeon is dead. She has been dead for a long time. Soo Mi's mind spirals into chaos. She stumbles to Soo Yeon's room and throws open the wardrobe, empty. The house, once filled with her sister's presence, is suddenly hollow. The truth crashes down in horrifying flashes. There was no Soo Yeon in the sack. There was no stepmother dragging her away. There was no locked closet. It was all Soo Mi. She has been suffering from dissociative identity disorder, unknowingly switching between herself and a cruel version of Eun-ju. Everything she believed was happening, the abuse, the confrontations, the supernatural horrors, were manifestations of her fractured mind. In the devastating truth, we see how it all began. In a flashback, the real tragedy is revealed. Soo Yeon died in a terrible accident. A heavy wardrobe collapsed on her, crushing her beneath its weight. Soo Mi wasn't there when it happened. The real Eun-ju, though strict, arrived too late. She hesitated before helping, perhaps out of resentment, and by the time anyone realized what had happened, it was too late. Soo Mi's mind couldn't handle the grief. In her shattered reality, she created a world where Soo Yeon was still alive, and Eun-ju was a monster to fight. The real Eun-ju had left the house long ago, yet in Soo Mi's mind, she was still there, tormenting them. The haunting conclusion. Su Mi is taken back to the psychiatric hospital. Her father watches, heartbroken yet resigned. The illusion has finally shattered. But the nightmare isn't over. That night, the real Eun-ju returns to the house. Alone, she walks through the silent halls, unaware of what lingers in the darkness. As she steps into Su Yian's old room, the air grows thick with something unseen. Then, a presence behind her. She turns, and there stands Su Yian, her ghostly figure bathed in pale moonlight. She is here. And this time, there is no escaping her. Eun-ju, for the first time, feels true terror. She gasps, stepping backward, but the door behind her slams shut on its own. The air crackles with a cold, unnatural energy. Then, the wardrobe doors creak open. Inside, something shifts. The fabric of the sack Su Yian had been locked in twitches slightly, as if something inside is still alive. A deep, echoing creak fills the room, followed by a soft, suffocating whimper. Eun-ju screams, a sound that is cut off abruptly as the screen fades to black.